Hey everyone, welcome back to the B-Main Podcast, episode number 33. We're here, and here's what we're covering today. Florida Speed Weeks is finally over. We spent, I guess, a month and a half down there in all our series, and we're finally gone. Early stages of championships are being structured within NASCAR and all the national dirt side. Jonathan Davenport becomes the all-time winner in the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series, besting the best, Scott Bloomquist. Caden Kvapil wins the car store opener at Southern National. Carson Brown dominates in the ARCA Menards race at Phoenix, and Reddick finally gets taken down by Ryan Blaney as Ryan Blaney took the win at Phoenix in NASCAR's fourth race of the season. We're going to switch it up, though. We're going to start again with dirt today like we did 1 week ago talking to Hudson O'Neal, but this week we're talking a lot about JD, Gavin.
Yeah, man, Jonathan Davenport breaking that record was awesome. I got to watch that race a little bit after it aired. I can't remember what I was doing, but I watched it after it aired, and I thought it was cool because Jonathan's not a flashy guy. He kind of gets out of his car, maybe does a fist bump, and that's about all his celebration. But he got out, stood on top of the car, did the old Scott Bloomquist crotch chop kind of in honor of him, and it was really funny seeing JD do that because he's not that flashy of a guy. So to see him celebrate just kind of be funny and I guess honor Scott in that way. It was really cool.
Yeah, definitely doesn't outwardly celebrate a crazy ton. Also,
No.
before we continue on, I need to mention the outlier in the room. I am not on my normal webcam this weekend. I'm on my laptop. That is why I look like a bright ghost. My frame rate is crazy, and there are lines and grain in the camera. So steer with me here. If you're listening along on Spotify, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's awesome and excellent. We're glad that you're listening. So, yeah, JD breaks that. Really cool. And I wouldn't say that he got emotional, but he definitely, it definitely was a big moment. And it wasn't something that he was taking lightly. And I think that's a really cool moment. I think that's a really cool moment as a broadcaster, too. I think about it in the seat and that, I get to call this excellent moment. And that is some really awesome stuff. But JD, it makes me sad at this point that he's not running the tour full time this year.
Yeah, because he's losing a driver that across both tours he's one of the top three guys, and not having him there all year, it does suck. But it makes it better when he shows up.
Yeah,
because now we have all these every crown jewel this year he's gonna run. He's gonna run all the big races. And then he's probably going to run whenever he wants. So it's not like we're losing him for the whole season. He's going to be around. It's just he's got nothing left to prove on the winning a season championship side.
Yeah.
He's done that enough. So it's going to be cool to see him still race. And I think he's still at a point in his career where, obviously we just saw he showed up for 4 races and he won 3 of them.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely think. Well, and it's interesting as well with dirt that there's a lot of drivers that can race into older age, way more than asphalt. And
especially on the late model side, too.
Yeah. We'll see sometimes. Who was it? Clanton comes and races the Dream every single year, and he's like near 70 years old or past 70.
I think he's in his 60s. I think he's around 60.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm shooting a little higher.
He's an older guy.
He's an older guy. He's a gray head.
Jonathan Davenport's got a gray head. He's 40.
He's salt and pepper. Hey, some guys get a little earlier than others. So, but yeah,
it's okay. The back of my hair's falling out, so I'm not going to talk in crap like 24.
Great. Yeah. Well, our guest last week, he is leading the points, and man, I'm still thinking about how fun that was to get to chat with him. But he's leading the points so far, and like we talked about, there's no Final Four, there's no Final Championship Four, none of that. It is straight up all the way to the end of the season. But he's only leading by 20 over Devin Moran, so Moran is keeping it close.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed is they take the from the Speed Weeks. I think they take your 5 best from all the races. So everybody gets a couple at the start of the season. They actually get to drop a few of their bad finishes. So really capitalizing and winning as much as you can helps. Like I'm looking at the standings right now, O'Neal and Devin Moran both have 3 wins. The only difference is Hudson's got one more top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worth that 20-point gap.
Yeah.
And Brandon Overton's sitting there in third. I mean, he's already 90 points back, but looking at it right now, you're looking at a 3-horse race just this early. But Ricky Thornton, he's 165 points back, but it's also Ricky Thornton.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was going to say,
can,
he was slow last year to get started.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anybody can dig themselves out of an almost 200-point hole this early in the season, it is him. At the same time, you look at, man, he's already lost that much ground this early. How much more ground is he going to lose? But everybody at that team is thinking, we have 8 months to gain 2 races worth of points.
Mm-hmm.
They can easily be in it.
Yeah.
Even by the end of April, they can be in it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you.
And
so it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, and I think we're just going to keep watching. What about Clay Harris? He's above Ricky Thornton. He's in 4th.
Yeah, he's sitting there in 4th. I don't know, because I know he's a Florida guy, so I don't know if he's planning on running the whole tour or not, or if he was just there for all the Florida races. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. But hey, 11 features in, 4th in points. Yeah. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking at Carson Ferguson. We saw him on Ram Race for the Seat. He's sitting in 10th.
A little bit of a medium start, yeah.
But he's been inconsistent so far. He's shown speed, but he's been in some accidents. Brian Shirley running the Lucas Tour this year instead of the Outlaw Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool thing to point out. He's running it. Brandon Overton's running it again. He ran it last year. Carson Ferguson, I believe he ran the Outlaw Tour last year. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, you have a lot of guys running the Lucas Tour that ran the Outlaw Tour last year, and I'm looking at thinking of the Outlaw Tour, and outside of Pierce and Hoffman, I don't know if they really have another elite driver on that side now that Brian Shirley's over with Lucas this season.
Yeah. No, I don't know. And it's Bobby Pierce's world, I feel like.
Yeah, and I found like JD's only ran 6 of the 11 races so far, but he has 3 wins, 4 top 5s in 6 races.
Yeah.
So when he shows up, he's gonna be good every time.
Yeah, I agree. World of Outlaws on that side with sprint cars, though. Man, you and I were going to try to plan to go to the Magnolia Motor Speedway race. I had a lot of family stuff. Yeah, I know. I had a lot of family stuff going on last week, and we dealt with all that. That's why we didn't put out another episode of this nature, and it was a little late. But then also, you and I were like looking at it, and the storms just kept rolling in.
Yeah, it just kept the chance of rain just kept increasing every day, and I was like, I don't think they're going to race it. And then I'm just looking on Twitter, and I see Carson Macedo put out a tweet, Magnolia canceled. We're having to drive all the way back to their shop. And I'm like, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to find another time soon to get a live episode in, because we've been wanting to do a live episode for over a year now. We've been like, we got to do an episode at a short track, but it needs to be one, obviously, where you're not working some other stuff. And so we're just trying to find a time to make it work. We're going to make it work soon.
Yeah. Hey, what about the top 2, Macedo and Kvapil, both not having wins yet?
Yeah, but they're tied in points.
I know, but I'm saying they don't have wins yet.
No, but that's the thing is Macedo's got 6 top 10s. He's been top 10 every time. And or Macedo's been top 10 every time. Kvapil has 4 top 10s. He had 1 bad race I know of at I think one of them in Volusia was bad, and then he didn't do good at the short track at Talladega.
What about Donnie Schatz getting a win? When was the last time he won?
That was awesome. 2024.
Okay, so it's been a while. I figured it'd been a bit. Hey, him, what was it? He's with TSR now, right? Or no, he left TSR. Who's he with now? Yeah. I can't remember.
I could have told you, and then now I'm blanking.
New partnership, starting out well.
Yeah, he did great.
I think he kind of needed a revival.
Yeah, he did, and I think he's around 50 years old. So I mean, he's at a point like we were talking about with Jonathan Albert. He's got nothing to prove, but he's still showing up to every race.
Oh man, he is
Wanting to win.
he is one of the absolute best when it comes to World of Outlaw sprint cars.
Well, I mean, he's won over 300 races, which is insane to think about.
Exactly.
Until you realize they run 50 or 60 a year, which is still crazy to win 300
No, seriously.
in your career. But I'm looking at the point standings. Kofoid's sitting in third. He has one fewer start than the others in the top. I guess everybody in the top 10, but he did make the feature that race at that was at Talladega, and he just didn't. I think it was Talladega. It was Talladega or the one before that. The last one at Volusia. They had equipment issues, so they made the show, but they couldn't start. So he got credited for 24th, I guess.
Yeah.
Which still, so he's only 30 points back. Has one less start than the rest of the top 5. I think he's looked the fastest so far this year.
Yeah.
Which, when you're having equipment issues this early, it can get a little scary.
I think after last year and coming so close there at the end with
that
Gravel.
team has a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Hodenshield driving the 18 car.
Yep.
They're off to a hot start.
Seriously.
With a win. But yeah, no, I don't know who I have picked as a champion yet. I think if I had to pick, I'm going to pick Kofoid again this year. I picked him last year. He came up so close, but still a little bit short from Gravel.
Yeah.
Everybody on that team, his crew guys, his crew chief, they're all young. They're probably, including the whole staff, driver, crew guys, crew chief, they're probably the youngest team on the tour. I think that's an advantage because they're all on the same page. Sure, they might not have as much experience as other guys, but you got to think, Buddy's been racing at a high level as long as I've been a dirt fan. So at least like 2019, 2020, he was already on the USAC tour in a midget, which I know a midget is way different than a 410 sprint car, but he has been racing around the best of the best for a long time now.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's 24 years old, but he has just as much experience as the other guys in the top 5. I mean, I'm putting his experience on the same level as Macedo, Gravel, Hodgeshield, and Schuhart at this point. Like, he is right there with them on his career accolades, his career accomplishments. He won, I think he won 3 six-figure races last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is no stranger to winning them races when it matters. He is probably the best. When they go to a short track, when they go to a quarter mile or 1/5 of a mile bull ring, he's the best driver in the field there usually. So I think he's at an advantage this year because he's in a really, really good car with Roth, full Toyota support. Going to be fast all the half-mile tracks. And then he is just such a good driver on the bull rings. I think they're going to be able to put it together this year, and he's going to be the World Outlaw champion.
Yeah. I like Carson Macedo this year. I feel like hot start, hasn't gotten a win yet, but very consistent. And I will say it all the time that consistency wins championships. And so
it does.
He's off to a good start. Again, 40-something races still to go. So it's a lot of early calls at this point. But he did great last year. I know he was in the top 5. I want to say he was third, but I'm not going to say without. Yeah, okay.
He was third.
I figured so. So I think if he can keep up with Gravel and Kofoid, that he can definitely be in the fight. So I think that's all for us with dirt. A little bit of a short week with dirt this week. We want to keep trying to make sure we're not shorting the hand of dirt. So don't think that we are. So, but it was a chaotic couple of weeks.
Chaotic week for both of us. And don't say we're shorting dirt. We had our entire episode last episode.
That's true.
Was
That's true. Hey, and definitely one of our best,
interview.
I think.
And it was so fun. It was awesome.
So let's jump.
Another shout out to Hudson. Also, still, like I said just a minute ago.
Oh yeah,
leading
seriously.
The list, points.
Well, let's jump to the Cars Tour because we haven't got to talk about Cars Tour, and they started their season just 2 weeks ago, and it started at Southern National Motorsports Park. I freaking love Southern National. You know this.
I know you love Southern. I like it too, but I want to talk about. I remember. I think it was the Cars Tour raced on that Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was Thursday or Friday. I was texting you. I was like, man, I'm not excited for this Cars Tour season. I don't know what it is. And I was like, yeah, I think it's just because a lot of the drivers that I've liked in the Cars Tour the last couple years, they're all in NASCAR. I mean, Minnie and Brendan Queen, they're running trucks. Carson Kvapil's running O'Reilly. Laney Bice, she's running Trans Am and ARCA both. Who am I missing? Landon Lewis.
Yep.
He's moved on. Connor Hall, he's not on the tour this year. So all of those guys that when you think of the Cars Tour over the last 5 years, those are the drivers you think of specifically.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know. I think it's just because the Cars Tour doesn't have their identity yet. And as soon as the race was over, I texted you, I was like, okay, I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm hyped again. This was great.
Yeah. You texted and it was like, this was awesome. And I fully agree. It was a really, really great one. What about Lee Pulliam leading 110 laps and it just didn't go his way in the end?
I hate it for him. But I don't think it was anything he did.
I don't either.
I mean, you look at Caden Kvapil in that car. He missed the show in qualifying. I don't know what they changed or what they had to rebound, and if they were that focused on long run speed that they're like, we don't have to worry about qualifying. He started in the back, came all the way to the front, and you didn't really notice him until he got in the top 10. You're like, oh, Kvapil's in the top 10. Okay. I mean,
yeah.
It's a JRM car. Okay, it makes sense. He's passed everybody. Then he gets into the top 5, and you're like, oh, he's fast. And then he gets up to that battle for the lead, and it's Lee Pulliam, himself, Doug Barnes all racing for the lead. And you're like, oh, this is good.
I said the same thing with Landon Pembleton about how cool is it to go up and pass one of the best. And
yeah.
And I say that, and it is clear. I think in the past couple of months, Lee Pulliam has made it clear that he has lost nothing from his couple of years out of the seat.
Yeah.
Like, it is still there. And I'll jump back to the Cars Tour. But I am really upset that I'm not going to be at SoBo for the March 21st race because I'm going to be down in Florida with my fraternity formal. It's my last one. Never know if I'll get to do something like that again. I get racing all my life. So thankful. But we're going to have Lee there. We're going to have Elliott Sadler in the modifieds. We're having all the Chase Bergeson's coming, up and comer in the Cars Tour. We've got all these people coming out for the season opener. And I know that I'm going to be on the beach and I'm going to be like, I want to be at two places at once.
Well, if it makes you feel any better or worse, I'll let you know. My senior year, I skipped our formal to go to a race. So
yeah. Well, we go to the beach, and I want to go to the beach with my girlfriend, all my friends, and I'll be at racetracks all the rest of my life. So I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to not go on it and regret it. But I can tell you with full certainty, when I did
you're gonna be watching on your phone.
Yeah,
you're gonna be down there with your.
Oh
friends,
no, not on the beach. I'll watch it later. I want to be on the beach. If I'm gonna be there, I might as well be there.
You're still gonna be there.
But no, I might as well.
It's gonna be outside. The sun's gonna be on you.
No, if I'm gonna enjoy it, I might as well be off my phone and all this stuff. Because if I'm gonna watch it on my phone, I might as well freaking go on to SoBo. Like, I feel like it defeats the purpose. So, but when I did the icebreaker, I came up with what I believe would be an amazing call to the finish for Pulliam, because he hasn't won since 2019. And that win came at SoBo. So, and he's only done a couple races since then, the first being in 2024 when he did the 300. And I think it would be a monumental call, and I would be extremely, extremely proud of it. And I'm upset that if it happens, Kyle Haney is one of the greatest announcers, and I've learned a ton from him, and he is still better than me. If he got to do the call, he would do it absolute justice. No doubt in my mind. But I really will be upset that I didn't get to do it because I wasn't there. Because him and I mean, we work back and forth all the time. We're so give and take with each other. But if it happens, I'll be so upset because it will be truly legendary. And I'll be like, oh, I had something awesome. You know?
Yeah.
So I've thought about that before. I've told a couple people about that. I told my boss that. I was like, and he was like, "Hey, you should be here." He was like, "He's
I think you
Brandon
should
Brown's
too.
great." I know, and but there was no. It's a lose lose for me.
Yeah.
Like I just
No, I get it.
I wish our weekend could be one weekend later, either way or the other. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to the Cars tour. We can talk about SoBo soon, and probably an episode from now, because
Well, I
after
mean, you're
that
getting ready to be there all season
we'll
too,
be
so you're
kicking
gonna
in
be.
high gear. So
Which
hopefully
I'm ready to have some SoBo regulars on here.
I am too. So hopefully I don't miss too much 2 weeks from now for that race, and hopefully everything really is awesome from there on out. So which
Yeah.
it always is. We're gonna have an amazing season. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Back to the Cars tour. Yeah, Caden Kvapil. I mean, starting out strong.
Mhm.
I will say, Junior Motorsports with Connor Hall started out strong a year ago, and then he kind of faded off. So again, it's always early in the season when we talk about this stuff, so I don't want to really truly say anything or make any big bold predictions.
I think you have to be 3 or 4 races into anything to make a prediction.
Yeah.
I think 1 month into the season, like we just did on the dirt side, I think that's the point when you can start not making calls final, but being like, this is the picture's starting to be painted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now the Cars Tour is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And saw Caden Kvapil win. He won with a fight. It was fun.
Yeah, well, him and Doug Barnes Jr.,
Chaos.
they got into it. Honestly, when I watched that incident,
I didn't think it was that bad.
I don't think it was that bad, but I do see Kvapil kind of pushing up the track.
Oh yeah, and if I was Doug, I'd be mad.
Yeah.
Because
well, and Doug's
he has
in his
not
own
won a
equipment
Cars Tour
now.
race yet. Yeah, and he hasn't won a Cars Tour race before.
Yeah, and he was
And
strong
so
at the
he
end.
was, mm.
So
And so I understand his anger.
yeah. Now here's what I think as well. It's very easy to let emotions get the best of you.
Mm.
Don't I gotta say, don't go up to victory lane. Wait for the guy. After that, come up to him if you're pissed. Have a conversation. Maybe give him a shove, something like that. But especially when you heard it on DBC, when it comes to Carson Elledge's victory lane, ain't nobody want to mess with that. I've never met her. I hope I get the pleasure of meeting her this year at some point. But she is someone I already know that it's do not mess with her and her stuff, her victory lane.
If you met her, I've only met her once, but you would agree with that statement even more if you met her. You'd be like, yep, I ain't messing with her.
Yeah. And I like Doug Barnes Jr. I've talked to him a couple times. I talked to him at the Icebreaker. I'll get to chat with him more this year, and I'll probably ask him about it, and he'll probably give me some fun response. But I get it from his perspective. I mean, like you said, he hasn't won. He's racing with his own stuff this year, so
if you're not mad, you're not human at that either.
No. But last year he was racing with Lee, and so he was respectful of their stuff. But of course, it's more people working on it, not as much you. So when that stuff happens, he still would have been mad, of course, but probably less mad because he wouldn't have had to do as much of the work on the car. Mm-hmm. This year, it's all him and his team, so it's a bit more personal for him.
Yeah. So
honestly, what did you think? Burrow at Hettinger. I think that's something new. I think Fryer running the full season. I'm glad he's back full season.
I'm ready to see that, and I hope he is able to run the full season because, like we saw last year, like he was talking, like it wasn't in the cards for him to run the full tour, and he ran at the races that he thought he could win, and showed up and tried to capitalize on earning back and making the most money as he could. Now he's on the full season. With the performance we saw him have last year, but knowing that he's going to be spread a lot more thin, is he one of the favorites? Like a preseason favorite. We don't know. We're not into the season very far yet, but would you say Jared Fryer is one of the drivers that when you're looking at, you're saying, I think he has a really good shot to win?
100%. Coming off of last year as well, it looks like he's probably got a little help from Ram. Cool to see that, by the way. Landon Huffman, kind of the same deal. He's running a Ram nose, I think, at Hickory. I couldn't remember if he ran that 57 if he ran a Ram nose for the Southern National opener or if it was his traditional Chevy nose. But he is running a Dodge nose for his Hickory car.
Okay, I kind of think it was a Chevy nose, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I know
I
he's
can look
running
it
the
up.
Dodge nose for his Hickory car,
Nice.
and that's really cool. I like to see them getting support. I mean, same with Landon Pimbleton, R&S. They become an in-house Dodge program now instead of Ford. So Pimbleton will be running that Dodge nose all year long at SoBo. So I'm liking that as well with the Ram Race for the Seat Series, that Ram is also injecting themselves not just in NASCAR, but in the short track side as well. And I think that's the right way to do it. So I'm glad to see them running that, getting support. That might be some support that Fryer needs to run the full season.
And like I love that Dodge is doing that on the short track side, because that's kind of a conversation I remember us having at the end of last year is, what is Dodge going to do to have more than just a truck program?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you can have a truck program and you can put 5 drivers in seats and race every week and pour as much money as Dodge and Ram have into it, but you're not a true program unless you have guys coming up. If you have a future plan, you can be a team without being a program. But right now, I think Dodge is truly building a full program and not just having one team. And that is really good for the growth of racing in general, because Chevy and Toyota's pipelines are full.
Yes.
Completely full. And Ford has a lot of work to do on theirs.
Yeah.
They can be in a good spot. They have a handful of really talented drivers. I think Nick Sanchez being a Ford development driver is great. Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith. They have good drivers. They just don't have a quantity of drivers.
Yeah. Well, and there's no.
And I mean, Cole Butcher's
there's no
Ford
set
now. Cole
system.
Butcher, Jake Garcia.
There's no set system to move them up.
Yeah, and like
Cole Butcher got stolen from Toyota.
Yeah, and Chase Burrow. I almost called him Joe Burrow because I'd been watching Sports Center earlier. I was like, I know that's not Joe Burrow. Oh, Chase. Yeah, he's part of the Ford program now. But they don't seem to have as organized of a pipeline. It's not like Ford will sign somebody and they'll say, okay, we're going to put you in a Trans Am car for this amount of races. You're going to run 3 ARCA races, and then you're going to run a handful of races in a late model to develop all of your skills. We're going to see what you have in each aspect of racing and what you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing that like Chevy and Toyota are. They're not as organized. They're just like, you're pretty good. We'll sign you to a deal, and you can put our logo on all your stuff, and you can use our sim. But that's really about all that the Ford program is visibly right now. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with the Ford program. But I think they have a lot of work to do. And I also think Dodge has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and they're fresh.
But,
so
but
that's
seems
expected.
To me, Dodge already seems more organized than Ford.
Yes.
At the short track level.
At the short track
level. Which is concerning. Which is a little concerning.
Yeah, yeah. And, I think Ford just has to get it together right now because, as well, I mean, there are 2 Fords in regular season competitors in the O'Reilly Series. There are, I think, 20-something odd Chevys. It's like 29 or something.
And a lot of those, a lot of those Chevys that have Chevy badging, that's a lot of the smaller teams that don't have factory support are running Chevy bodies and Chevy engines.
But I'm saying, like,
it's kind of,
what does Ford got to do to bring people back over to Ford? Because at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. Ford is fully into motorsport. I don't think they're going anywhere. No way.
No.
But it is clear that Toyota is on the rise. Chevy is as stable as always. And it seems that people are moving away from Ford, especially at the O'Reilly and the truck level. And especially with trucks now, with Dodge entering the deal, that, we could see someone switch to Dodge now. Like, there's another option for people if Kaulig does well this year. So, especially at the O'Reilly and the truck level, Ford needs to do something to inject themselves further into it and bring on more trucks and O'Reilly cars, because Ford is fine at the Cup Series. They could use another team probably, but they're It's pretty
Penske and
stable.
RFK, they're fine.
Right,
If
exactly.
you have the two of them, you are in a good spot.
Exactly.
And then the
They're
Wood
stable
brothers,
there.
I'm putting the Wood brothers under the Penske umbrella.
Yeah, and front row.
But
Front row's
yeah,
great
and
as
front
well.
row as well.
So, but again, I, especially coming into this year, someone called it the Chevy O'Reilly series, and it's like Ford's got to do something because there is not enough in Ford. I don't know if that's see if Penske wants to come back and run an Xfinity program again. I don't know why that died. Really, who knows? But I feel like you got to do something because when you have two full-time cars compared to 25 plus Chevrolets and 9 plus Toyotas, I feel like that is a huge imbalance.
Yeah, and I mean, we brought this conversation up on the fly. This was not on our notes at all. It just naturally, it was natural because it's something that we're Ford fans, as you can probably tell by listening. So you can see the concern that we have for the future. But back to the Cars Tour. What is the Cars Tour's identity this year? Is I guess what I was going to with what I was talking about before the race of why I wasn't excited. What drivers, if you're the Cars Tour, what drivers are you putting on anything you have promotional? Yeah. Who are you having as who's going to be at the front of the line at the autograph session? Whose merch are you selling out at the Cars Tour trailer? Like, what drivers can the Cars Tour promote right now? Because I'm thinking, okay, Doug Barnes, he has a pretty big social media following, big personality. A lot of people like him. I would say
Carson Lofton. Huffman for sure. Okay. Both of them. Huffman's got the win. I think like last year, he's going to be competitive again, and I think after last year with Carroll and their speed shop and everything over there, I think Huffman could be a dark horse this season. And that
I think
people have seen him as a mainstay, but not a championship contender. And I think last year might have changed people's perspective. And that him and Carroll Speed Shop have absolutely stepped it up. And so last year, there just were a little inconsistencies, just not enough top 5, top 10 finishes. Needed the win, of course. Need the win. But I think this year, with a win and a couple more top 5s, he's in there. He's right in there with Kvapil, with the possibility of Carson Lofton. I think Carson Lofton, even off his sophomore season this year, he could be a contender with that Nelson Motorsports car. And I think the win is on the horizon for him. We saw just such amazing development and growth from him last year, jumping into a late model stock for the first time, that this year I would put him in the ring. Mm-hmm. I would also say Landon S. Huffman, if he's running the full-time season this year. I know he's not exactly with PRG this year. I don't know what their plan is. Doesn't seem like they're going to do something full-time this year either. But I don't know exactly. I think I want to say it's Chad McCumbee, but I'm not sure. I know Trayton Lapsvich will be doing a lot of stuff for McCumbee this year, which also great to see. Don't know if he's full-time, though, but Landon S. Huffman.
I like him, and he's got a lot of talent.
I do, too. But Landon S. Huffman coming off the turn of last year, top 2 in both of those races at North Wilkesboro and Tri-County. Cade Brown, did he even run Southern National? I don't think he ran it.
I think he did. I had him in my notes as well.
He wasn't there. He wasn't
there.
I'm
thinking of Carson Brown, not Cade Brown.
Yeah,
Carson's going to run the full season.
Yeah, so
he's actually trying to run the full season of ASA and the Cars Tour, which is if he can pull off that.
Yeah, I was going to say Carson Brown.
Imagine him winning the double. Imagine him winning both. Nope. How cool would that be to see somebody win a super late early champion and a late? No, I'm just saying, how cool would it be to see him do that?
Oh, it'd be great.
And I think he can. I mean, we're so early. I mean, I'm not going to predict say he's going to do it. I'm just saying he has a shot to do that. Yeah. That'd be one of the coolest things ever.
I was surprised.
Burrow's going to be good this year. I like him at Hettinger.
I do
like
too.
That combination. I think that's a dark horse pick. I think he's going to be really consistent.
I think he'll be consistent, but I do not think he'll be a championship contender.
Yeah,
I think
he's an underdog.
I think so.
But I think he's going to be in the top 6 or 7, 8, somewhere in there at the end of the season. You know
what I was surprised by? I was surprised at Parker Eatman. It just was not a great performance from them. Qualified in the top 10, but it just kind of fell off for them. And he was great at Matt Piercy at the end of 25. And I think just not the start they wanted. Same with Aiden King. This is going to be his first year full-time in late model stocks with Matt Piercy. I've met him a couple times. Great kid, but he's obviously very young. He's 13 years old. So not terribly surprised to see him having not the most amazing day. I'm not saying anything because of him. Again, he's young. But Eatman, a little bit older on the spectrum. I believe he's 18 or 19, I think. Looks a lot taller than his age, but it wasn't a great day for them. And I want to say it was mechanical trouble now that I'm trying to think back to it. So I think Parker Eatman, though, getting on the right track with NPR, they could be contenders, especially for top fives and wins.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I am excited for the car story this year. I think you talk about who are your people going to be. I think Landon Huffman. I think possibly Carson Brown. I would say maybe Landon S. Huffman, Caden Kvapil, Carson Lofton, Doug Barnes Jr., and possibly Jared Fryer. Yep.
And before we move on, how about the pro late model race? How about Mason Walters, a guy who I haven't seen? I don't know if I've seen anything out of him.
This is his fourth or fifth start.
Shows up, outbattles a Gibbs car with Max Reeves, and then outbattles Keelan Harvick.
Nothing against Ben Mayer, but that was the same car that Ben Mayer ran all of last year, and Mayer won the championship, but he did not win. He did not capitalize, and that car seems to be, I would say that car with the correct driver is very underdog.
Seems to be a top 3 car, though.
Top 3 car all the time. And so Mason Walters, kind of proved that Ben Mayer should have won last year. And again, Ben Mayer is very talented for his age. He's only 15, 16 years old. He's doing some truck starts on the road courses.
I think he's at least 16 if he's running trucks. So.
Yeah, okay, 16. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But he didn't win last year. And Mason Walters came out and beat arguably the best car that shows up to pro late models with that KHI Rackley car.
Yeah, and so that was really impressive to me. And it was kind of interesting to me watch Max Reeves start up front and fade to the 3rd or 4th spot because that's a Gibbs car. And Max Reeves, we've seen him have a lot of success in ARCA East and a little bit of short track success in ARCA. What are we learning about Max Reeves now that he's racing pro late models and super late models against the best of the best in a field that is much tighter than the ARCA field? What are we learning about him?
I wouldn't put too much weight on that pro as much just because saying it's a Gibbs car. They don't build pros. They don't build supers really.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in general, what are we learning about Max Reeves? Getting to see him race a field that's much tighter than the ARCA field.
I got to meet him, and he is actually, we said this after the Derby,
he seems like a nice kid.
Such a nice kid, like really. Mm-hmm. And Bobby Labonte had made jokes about him before about getting off the damn phone, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But he is a good kid. I think he just needs more time at the short track level because, and you might ask why, because if he's performing well in ARCA, why does he need more time in short tracks? And I think what you can gain at the short track level is something that you cannot replace at an ARCA, at a truck, at an O'Reilly level. Once you get to those upper levels of NASCAR, you have to have what you learn at the short tracks. I think that's what people are talking about with Cletus McFarland and the questioning of NASCAR's approval process, and that there is stuff that you can learn in pros, in supers, in late model stocks, in street stocks, in midgets, in quarter
and
midgets, micros, all this stuff at the short track dirt and asphalt level that you learn about racecraft, you learn about patience, you learn about timing, all of this stuff that once you get to the truck series, once you get to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, that has got to be solid. And so I think Max Reeves, for him, needs more time at that. I think for Cletus McFarland, he needs more time at the short track level. He's barely run any, he's not run any short track races that have not been Crown Vics. I think we need to see him in a late model stock. We need to see him in a pro late model. You could say it for anybody that
I
You
think a
cannot
late model stock
replace.
is perfect for what he needs to be doing.
I just think
That is where he needs to be right now if he wants to be a serious race car, which I think he does want to be. I don't think he's doing this as a joke. I think
no.
he's doing this because he truly loves racing
Yeah.
and he loves the people in racing and he has a lot of fans. And I don't want to see. And I've had my rants about the approval process. I've had my rants about I don't think he should be in an O'Reilly car right now.
I don't either.
But I think he truly needs to be. I want to see him succeed.
Me too.
And I think if he wants to succeed, he needs to be in a late model stock right now.
Yes, I think
Racing
it's
against.
way for sure too early for the O'Reilly Auto Parts car.
I think it's too early for trucks.
I think so too. Still, I'm there. I'm there with you.
And with ARCA, you say, well, he needs to learn in ARCA. I don't think ARCA is about. I don't think ARCA is a place to learn. I think ARCA is a place to prove what you have learned.
Yeah, I love that. That is a perfect quote. Somebody quote that.
Because
that is excellent.
Because look at Brendan Queen. Did he learn anything in ARCA? No. Did he prove what he had learned? When
He
ARCA?
learned some
Yes.
stuff. You listen to his podcast.
But you get what?
talk
But
to
you
him.
see what I'm.
I know what you're saying.
But you see what I'm saying.
He proved
And
that
same thing
everything
with
he learned at a younger age and a lower level was able to translate for him.
And even
same with Carson. I would say that's with Carson Brown right now.
Yeah, and I would even say that with I know he's super young, but what he did as soon as he got an ARCA car,
Tristan McKee.
Connor Zillich.
Oh,
Tristan
yeah.
McKee,
Yeah.
Connor Zillich, William Sawalich, Jesse Love, Corey Heim. Like all of these drivers, good short track racers or good, kart road course racers like Connor Zillich hopped in and were able to say, look at what I can do in an ARCA car on a speedway.
Yeah.
Brent Cruz is the same way. He hopped in an ARCA car and started winning as soon as he got in it.
Yeah.
So I don't think ARCA is a place where you learn. I think ARCA is a place where you prove what you have learned.
Yeah, and I think this is a great transition to our NASCAR side.
Get into ARCA
to
now.
ARCA, yeah. I mean, I just said it with Carson Brown talking about him winning at Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't lead every lap. There was a few under the pit stop and things like that changed. He didn't.
I think he led every green flag lap.
He did, and again, I met him at the Icebreaker, and such a nice kid. Like really, I love race car drivers that are not stuck up, that like just are good-hearted kids. And there are more out there than you think. And it's so easy to make. I'm not saying I did this with him because I didn't. I have done this with people before. But it's easy to see a driver get so many opportunities at a young age, like getting signed with RCR Development, getting with Lee Pulliam now, getting to run with Anthony Campy Racing. We get to talk with Timothy, and he knows the super late model world. If you want to run for Donnie Wilson or Anthony Campy, you're going to need a pretty penny. And for a reason. They are the best teams in the ASA Stars Tour and the Southern Super Series. But him getting to do all this stuff, it isn't all just because of money. Like, he has gone out there and proved that he has good work ethic, he has a good character, and he's good in the car. And that's something, you can have money all day long. If you have those things too, I'm behind you 100%. Seriously. And he proved again at Phoenix and ARCA that he is someone to be looked at. And you said it, he's running full-time Cars Tour this year, trying to run full-time ASA as well at the same time with Anthony Campy. I love it. I mean, if I were him, this would be the best freaking year of my life. Running ARCA, Cars Tour, late model stocks, and super late models. I mean, gosh, inject that into my veins. Like, I would take that every year of my life if I could have that and be paid to do it. Like, seriously, I'd go nowhere else. You'd put me. You could tell me the truck series, and that's the farthest I'd go. I'd be like, that might be the only thing that might persuade me to be like, yeah, I'll do something different than that. But seriously, he proved to be very strong. I think you made a great point, or in our notes at least, that Nitro really wasn't there at Phoenix.
And
some of that was from driver error, I think.
Yes, but I want to sit here and think. When you look at the 6 drivers that showed up for Nitro, we know that Thomas Annunziata is a solid race. I would consider him a solid race car driver. Solid wheelman. We know that Jake Bowman has enough talent to get it done at the ARCA level. And then we know that Isabella Robusto is a talented driver who should be running anywhere from 2nd to 7th or 8th in any ARCA race.
Uh-huh.
Usually. That's usually where she runs. And Mia Lovell, Julian DaCosta, we don't know. I mean, we don't know anything about them.
No.
And then Jade, we know that she is capable of winning at the short track level in really good equipment. And that's when I want to talk about Nitro being off, the 25 and the 90 car. When they showed the graphic of like their best lap times. Nitro had 2 cars that were half a second off their other 4. And there is no world, no place. I can understand being a couple tenths off in your first race at a mile-long track, like Jade. But you should not be a half a second off your teammate if you're that talented of a driver. And then the battery dies twice, so it's alternator. We know the alternator, or assume the alternator's out, and then you get caught up in a wreck in the mid to back of the pack because of equipment issues. That is not a personnel problem, not a you problem. That is a equipment problem, and I'm wondering if 6 cars is too much for Nitro. Even though they are the top team in ARCA.
And they got a lot of Venturini stuff. Like a lot of people.
Yeah,
it really was. I was gonna say.
You take Nitro and Venturini, and you're merging 2 teams together. But still, you're operating 6 race teams out of one shop and taking 6 haulers, 6 groups of personnel to the racetrack as one organization.
I think
is that spreading your resources too thin? Is what I want to wonder. Should Nitro scale back and only not run more than 4 cars a week?
I think it's clear that Bill Venturini is no longer the owner of that team.
Yes.
I think they were a 40-year team. They had figured out the exact perfect way to do everything behind the scenes. And I think this is Nitro, the owners at Nitro, newer Nitro personnel trying to adapt with that.
It is a very similar personnel, similar team. The management's a little different.
That is the biggest change. That is the biggest change. A lot of these drivers drove for Venturini last year, and so the biggest change is the management. And so I think you're correct in that it might be smart to go down in car count until you figure those things out, or is having more allow for more experimentation and to figure it out quicker.
I don't know about experimentation because the ARCA car has not changed since the mid-2010s. I mean, the ARCA car, all things considered...
Well, clearly something's not working.
Yeah, I know, but you see what I'm saying. The ARCA car itself hasn't changed for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that group of drivers, and I know that 3 of those 6 drivers have what it takes to be in victory lane in any ARCA race on any weekend.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering, especially looking at the 25 and the 90 cars, is there something going wrong behind the scenes?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, the team doesn't like each other, or they're not a good team. I'm just saying, are they putting too few resources into too many teams?
Yeah.
Because like we said, ARCA isn't where you learn, it's where you prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't prove yourself on a top team if you're not getting your top team's best effort.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think we'll have to wait and see about the next race.
And that was
No. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't me bashing any teams or making excuses for drivers or anything. It is just weird to see Toyota not up front. It's weird to see Toyota be a non-factor in an ARCA race.
Yeah.
But Carson Brown and what's going on at Pinnacle, I mean, that was a great team. So hats off to them again.
Yeah.
And Tristan McKee for running second all race.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch the O'Reilly race, so I don't want to talk.
I just watched stage 3
too much about it because I already know who won. I don't want to spoil. This is crazy. People will say this is crazy. I'm still gonna go and watch it. I just love racing.
A week later.
Yeah, but so I don't want to spoil too much for myself.
It was a great race.
I figured so. I figured usually O'Reilly at Phoenix is.
They've been the best every week this season. They've been the best race. I think.
I love the Cup Series and I love the drivers of the Cup Series, but I will continue to say that I have a problem with the Gen 7 car. And that I think if the entirety of the Cup field was in the O'Reilly cars, you would get the greatest racing on earth when it comes to oval.
Yes.
Yes, like
Yes.
I am 1,000% sure that the car is the problem. Like we didn't have all these problems in the Cup Series until we transferred over to this Gen 7 car. We didn't talk about
Which we had a
we
different
didn't
set
we
of
didn't
problems.
talk about all these tires, all the tire stuff. We didn't talk about not in the same vein. We didn't talk about underbody
We had different
downforce.
issues.
We had different issues, but they were issues that did not change the heart of the racing and the
No.
style that you learn at a lower level. I would tell you again, I would say that from the truck and the O'Reilly car that the Cup car is completely different and that
Yes.
there are plenty of things that transfer, but there are too many new things that are never learned before.
Yeah, and I do want to point. I just want to, I guess, not argue, but counterpoint to that is 2019, 2020, 2020. The last 3 years of the Gen 6 car were, in my opinion, the worst product NASCAR has rolled out in the Cup Series. As far as week to week, with the 550 horsepower, the huge spoiler.
Oh yeah.
You could draft up to the car behind you, but you pulled out a line and you had a parachute behind you, but you had no power to pass.
I don't have to drag on this too long because we could go down the rabbit hole with this.
I know. I'm just
I just agree with what I like what Joey said, and that I think and what Dale Jr. has said before. I think the biggest thing needs to be that the driver behind the leader or behind the car in front of them would be able to affect the car in front of them. Like putting air on their left rear or on their outside or just getting up behind them, getting that bubble of air, and that the leader can be at a disadvantage. And that aero, especially underbody, is not as great of a factor.
I'll agree with you there.
I could go down and say I think we need to go back to a bigger sidewall tire because we're having issues with blowouts, things like that. I mean, we just saw it at Phoenix. And I think part of that is the teams and doing too little air pressure. But I think also it's that, and teams have to account for that. But I think also it's a fact that the sidewall is so small and so thin that it is so weak when you do go to low air pressure. Because I think teams need to be able to go to those low air pressures. Anyway, I could talk about that for a long time. Back to the O'Reilly series. We're jumping all over the place, but I'm having fun about it. Allgaier wins. Last year he should have won there too, but had wrecked with 4 to go. I can't say I'm surprised at all. Allgaier is great when it comes to Phoenix.
And he's great. I love Justin too. Like he's one of the nicest guys in the O'Reilly garage. He's the oldest guy, full-time guy in the series. He's the most respected guy. And he's almost like the dad of JRM too. Because all his teammates are like, they're kids. And then you have him who's right around 40 years old. So it's cool to see him mentor these guys and cool to see him be able to go out and win. And the two drivers I want to shout out for this race, Jesse Love and Carson Kvapil, both led a bunch of laps.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse Love, when him and Kvapil, then it was the end of stage 2, or maybe the first run of stage 3, when they were racing for the lead, I was so impressed with how Kvapil was able to stay composed because he doesn't have that win yet.
Yeah.
But he's shown a little bit more speed this year. He's got a new crew chief who I think has built a little more confidence in that team. I think that team chemistry is really good right now. I think Carson's going to win a couple races, more than one race this year. I think he's going to win 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 races this year at this level with Rodney Childress as his crew chief. And the way he was able to stay composed and make Jesse Love overdrive his car, heat up his tires too much. That way he could get around him, and once he got around him, drive away from him, was really impressive. There were a couple restarts at the end of the race, pit stops that didn't fall Carson's way and got him pushed back to the back half of the top 5. So he wasn't able to capitalize and win yet, but the pieces are there for him to be in victory lane.
Yeah.
And to, I guess, a lot of people who, or maybe, hey, he didn't get a win last year, what's the deal? I thought he was supposed to be the next big thing, to prove that he is still a top prospect in NASCAR, and that JRM should be still putting their full confidence in him.
And I agree with that. Like I'm the biggest Carson Kvapil fan, and I agree with you. There's more speed, and I think they just have to find victory lane for that first time. And the minute that they do, it will come alive.
They're gonna be back.
But it has been evidently clear since Carson Kvapil was in late model stocks and winning championships with Dale Jr. that he has the racecraft and the speed to be a champion. And I said that last year when we talked about.
And I think he can be a champion at every level he races in.
I think so too. I just think that first win has to come in the O'Reilly Series, and then it's going to start flooding for him. And so I get on the edge of my seat. Like when he got wrecked by Corey Day, I was pissed because he was doing so freaking good. And when I go watch this race, I know that when he's leading and battling with Love and eventually Allgaier gets him, however it happened, that I'm going to be so mad because he was so darn close. So he's just been so close, especially this year. Like, and even at Coda in the '91, the DGM car, he was so strong. Like it's evidently clear, and I hope that Dale Jr. continues to believe in him. I think there's a point, of course, where you have to say, okay, we gotta get to victory lane. But I agree with you with having Rodney Childers this year. They're gonna get there. I have no doubt.
And I'll say this about Carson. Like, I don't talk to him a bunch, but I talk to him, maybe a couple times a month. Like, not super often, but I'll see him on Discord calls on iRacing. We'll talk very briefly, just, hanging out. And he has, even just listening to him talk about something that isn't racing, he has more confidence this year.
Yeah.
That crew chief pairing with Rodney Childers, everything that the one car has this year is a better suited situation for Carson.
Yeah.
This year, I think that team is tailored together. They have good chemistry, and I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I think so. I do want to talk about the truck series at St. Pete.
That was a fun race.
Literally. I thought Dario Franchitti.
Lane Riggs of all drivers.
I know. I thought Dario Franchitti was awesome coming in. I hated that he had mechanical problems. I listened to his episode with Dale Jr. on the download, and man, it was fun to get to listen about his story in Europe and then into IndyCar. Just really cool stuff. And I thought it was really fun to get to see him run. I loved James Hinchcliffe running. I never got to watch IndyCar when he was a full-time driver, but I've listened to him in the booth. I like him, and I hated that it just didn't quite go his way, and he couldn't quite get up into the fight. I think Townsend Bell had the best line in the booth. He said, truck masters or track masters? Who was it going to be?
Yeah.
And at the end, it was truck masters. So I thought, I listened to that as a broadcaster. I was like, dang, that is a beautiful line. That is a beautiful storyline and a great tag for it, too. But I thought St. Pete was so fun, and I hope that the trucks go back there because I think that was a great road course and that there was stuff going on all the time. It was integral. There was great passing zones. Like, I think for a road course, that is the best of what you can ask for. And the fight coming down to the end with the two Thor Sport cars and then with Lane Riggs, and they were all three in the fight. Like, it wasn't like anyone walked away with this. I mean, it came down to the last lap.
And it was guys that we don't think of as road course guys up front.
Literally.
Rhodes, Majeski, and Riggs. Ben Rhodes and two guys who are, for lack of a better word, short track specialists.
Yeah.
Battling for the lead at a road course on a companion week with IndyCar.
Yeah.
And how cool is it? Like, if you're an IndyCar fan, who IndyCar, as far as American racing goes, is top level of engineering, the fastest cars, the most downforce, the most technical racing you can see. And then to watch the truck series, which is all about elbows out, toughness, your, I guess, stereotypical NASCAR style racing.
Everyone said they expected worse.
IndyCar fan to get to watch that.
Yes.
And how much fun do you think those guys were having? And then to be a truck series fan who's down there and are used to that style of truck racing, when you get to watch how fast those Indy cars go into turn one and the amount of just precision you have to have. Like, how cool is it for both fan bases to get to see basically completely opposite styles of racing back to back?
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. And IndyCar being with the Cup Series and O'Reilly Series at Phoenix. Like, more NASCAR IndyCar doubles. I love them. I want to see them. I want to see them all year.
I do too. I want to save IndyCar for after because I want to talk about Formula One as well, and I think they go really hand in hand in this regard.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the trucks at St. Pete. That was awesome. I hope we get that again. Honestly, for me, for Coda was good on both ends. I think biggest thing was that Tyler Reddick won 3 in a row and made history. I think that is the biggest thing for me.
Too.
Yeah, so seriously, SVG it seems like has a Coda curse when it comes to the Cup car.
You just can't win there.
No, and I think it'll come. I really do. It just seems like they're a little bit off there. But, I mean, that was the biggest thing for me. And Coda was fun, but Coda was Coda. So I think that's all I've got to say about it. Finally, Cup at Phoenix. I don't like Phoenix as a championship, and I'm glad we're back to Homestead, but I do like Phoenix.
I like it.
Phoenix is a great racetrack. Deserves 2 dates for sure.
It is such. Let's say it. It's such a wild race. There was so much happening. It seemed like every time you would look down or look away, you'd look up, and we would be under caution and be like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
Or somebody different would be leading, and you're like, "What happened?"
Hey, how about Anthony Alfredo and running top 10 before the wreck?
Yeah, I mean, Alfredo's. I
like
think he's
him.
a guy that everyone likes. I think everybody likes Alfredo.
I just think he needs the right opportunities. And
I think, I mean, this was a one-race deal. Allgaier's about to be in the car for
which
Vegas.
I was going to say, I was hoping.
I understand.
I was hoping that Alfredo was going to get another shot because the wreck was not his fault. He was just there. I think based on how he ran before that, I think he deserved another race. I really do.
Yeah.
And I get why they're putting Allgaier in, and I love Allgaier.
Allgaier is a proven driver. I mean,
I just think
it's kind of one of those jokes I make.
Go ahead.
Justin Allgaier is the best substitute driver of all time, maybe.
Yeah.
Or like you said, I mean, you said that about Regan Smith or a few other guys, but there are some guys that we talk about, and who better to put in your Cup car on a temporary basis than a guy who has 2 decades of NASCAR experience like Justin Allgaier, who has the O'Reilly Championship, who has been in a Cup car before, albeit it was the early Gen 6 car, which is about as different as you can be from this car. But he has raced at the top level with the top drivers before, and you can trust him. You can trust him in that 48 car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get it, and it makes sense. I just I just thought Alfredo did good enough before the wreck that he deserved another shot, and so I hope he gets that. Maybe I understand putting Allgaier in, and that he is very experienced, even if it's not fully in the Gen 7 car.
Also, hope Alex Bowman has a speedy recovery. I know.
I do too. I just
vertigo can be an interesting thing to recover from,
and I don't like Bowman,
fix, or it could be a 6-month fix.
I don't like Bowman at all, but I'm very concerned for his career at this point because
this isn't the first time he's missed races.
No,
for injury.
Last year was rough for him. He won. Was last year when he ran the? No. It was 2 years ago when he won the street course. Hasn't won since then. And before that street course at Chicago, he hadn't won since I think 2023 or 22. It was another. There was another drought for him. Forever how long it was.
The last year of the Gen 6 car, he won 4 races.
Yes.
So that was 21. And I think he won 1 race in 22 and then 1 in 24.
Yeah. So
that sounds right. I might be completely off.
There's been some droughts for him. And so last year especially, a lot of people questioned him in the 48 car. And I've always liked Bowman, even when he started subbing in for Dale Jr. And I think up until the Gen 7 car, he was great. Whether it's the Gen 7 car
like Kyle Busch,
that hasn't been able to adapt.
The Gen 7 car just hasn't clicked.
No.
And Kyle
might
Busch
be it.
hasn't transitioned. Austin Dillon, another driver who just hasn't been able, the transition from the Gen 6 to Gen 7 car just hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's been several different drivers, but they all have very different driving styles, so there doesn't seem to be a real reason or pattern on why it doesn't work. There's just drivers that
just doesn't
haven't
work.
been able to figure out the Gen 7 car, and we're in year 4 of it now.
Well, and with him breaking his back in the sprint car and now being diagnosed with vertigo, I think it is a recipe for disaster for his career because he already hasn't been doing good. And who knows how long this is going to be, and who knows, vertigo can easily come back. Like I think this is a road that will be nearly impossible for him to recover from. And I would say that I would not be surprised if by the end of the year or by next year he is out of the 48. And I hate to say that because again I like him, but it's just all these factors are just truly terrible factors and really unfortunate, but that's just how it is right now with the facts stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, in the near future, probably not this episode. If his recovery isn't fast, we could be sitting here talking about who are we putting in the 48.
Yeah.
Who's next in line? I don't think we're ready for that yet.
No.
But that's something that Hendrick is going to have to start thinking about.
Yeah, I think so. And I was surprised.
I don't think it's urgent, but I think Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon running that team, they might have not had the discussion yet, but
they better not be thinking about Corey Day. I'm just gonna say that. Look, I don't not like Corey Day, but he's not ready.
And let's I think this is a good time to talk about our bonehead and
I was just gonna say
then.
mine is Corey Day. You saw it back in Atlanta. We saw it at Coda. I haven't watched Phoenix yet. Were we okay at Phoenix?
He was fine at Phoenix.
Okay, we were okay at Phoenix. All right.
Fast. He was fine at Phoenix.
All right. So mine were for Atlanta and Coda, and especially wrecking Connor Zilic. Kind of he did not judge how he was going to run turn 2. Because especially in that O'Reilly car, it's very difficult to run that curb on turn 2 and not get tight and bounce out. Just the way the car re-lands, it's very easy to have to correct yourself. And he was racing very close with Zilic, and so you got to leave room for that. And I think as well, it's Zilic. He won 10 races last year. If he gets by you or gets an edge on you, you're not getting back past. At that point, let it go. You're running top 5, let it go.
Yeah, and I want to say this about Corey because
go ahead.
I don't want to.
I share your sentiment. Whatever you're going to say, I know it.
I don't want to not like Corey Day, and he is so fast, so talented, and I don't think any one of these instances would be, oh, he's the bonehead of the week. But I think all of them stacked on top of each other add up. And when you look at, he's great. He's one of the top, I would say he's a top 6 I would say top 6 sprint car driver in the country. I feel like that is an appropriate level to say where he's at. But we've seen him even in a sprint car. We were watching one of the races last year where me and you were watching together, and he was racing Kofoid for the win, and he just overstepped his car where he had a little bit of damage, and he ended up going through a billboard. Yeah, when he went through a billboard.
Yeah.
So it's not really a NASCAR exclusive thing with Corey where he has a habit of overdriving, which is, you can recover from that in a 30-lap race. You can afford to do that in a 30-lap race. But when you're looking at a 250-mile race or a 200-mile race, you have to learn not to make those mistakes. Yeah. And in his 2.5 years in stock car racing, part-time across 3 series, he hasn't learned that lesson yet. I think he knows that and I think he's working on it, and he can work on it. I just don't know what the answer is, because he has as much talent as anybody, but not everybody from the sprint car world or from the dirt world or from the short track world works out in NASCAR. It doesn't always work. I mean, look at Brad Sweet, look at Rico Abreu, I have a super amount of respect for both of them. Rico's one of the guys in racing that I look up to the most. I mean, he's won national championships in high limit. He was this year's champion, but his NASCAR career did not pan out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're looking at a situation where Corey's NASCAR career is going to look more like Brad's or Rico's than it is like Kyle Larson's. I kind of covered your bonehead for you there. Sorry
Thanks.
about jumping on your rant there, but who's your badass? We'll go with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. Who is my badass? I don't think I thought about this. You go.
Oh, wait, okay, fine. I'll go. My bonehead was and it wasn't a major issue because it didn't take out anyone else. Well, actually, it did. So yeah, Christian Rasmussen in the IndyCar race. He had the fastest car all day. Drove through the field. Was fastest. Got shuffled back a few spots due to strategy. Was running down Will Power.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a handful, probably 20, 30 laps to go, I think, at this point. And he was racing behind Will Power. Had time to get around him. Will was, using the arrow blocking, cutting off his line, blocking how you block in an IndyCar race without just swerving back and forth.
Yeah.
Making it hard for Christian to pass him.
Yeah.
He was getting frustrated. He tried to power around him on the outside, coming out of 2. And Power comes up, takes his line that was there. Rasmussen doesn't lift, and they both end up in the wall.
Yeah.
Will Power stays over. Rasmussen has a little bit of damage, goes on, leads some more laps, but as soon as he gets passed by one car, just starts falling through the field.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets in a little bit of dirty air because of the damage. And yeah, he was going for the lead. And this was his racing style that he has had his whole career on ovals. But he cost himself a win, and he cost Will Power a solid finish.
Yeah.
And when that happens in IndyCar, it is a lot more noticed and a lot more talked about than when it happens in any stock car race. Because when you're racing wheel to wheel and create contact in IndyCar, it's a little more expensive and a little more damage than it is in a stock car.
It is. Yeah. I'm with you on that sentiment. I watched it and I thought he was absolutely the best. And I think he cost himself a win for sure. I think patience was the name there, and he didn't have it.
And it's one of those where you just put both your hands on the sides of your head like, come on, man, you had that.
Yeah.
And you're not mad at him because he took out a driver you like or something like that. Or
oh, you might be if you're a Will Power fan.
Well, yeah, but you're not mad at him for repetitively doing it.
No.
You're sitting there frustrated at him for taking himself out, not for taking someone else out.
Yeah.
Because Will Power could have conceded the position.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have, and I don't blame Will for driving the way he did, but he could have conceded the position, or Christian could have been more patient. But both of them cost each other a shot to win.
Yeah.
But I think the blame is 80-20 on Rasmussen.
Yeah. I think my badass is actually Team Penske.
Okay.
Sweeping the weekend at Phoenix. I think between the two drivers,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, Allgaier won. They don't have it. I was like, IndyCar.
Yeah. I would probably give the edge to Newgarden because I think Blaney, it was clear all day long.
That run at the end, that was awesome.
It was clear Blaney all day long had the strongest car, but he did overcome 2 penalties. And, he came through the field twice through 30 cars, and that's insane. Newgarden, though, I would say his was equally impressive because he was just quiet all day long. And then, bam, here comes the 2. And so it's a good start for him. I think, is he a 2 or 3-time IndyCar champion? I can't remember.
Multiple-time IndyCar
He's a multi-time champion. But he hasn't had the greatest runs in the past couple years. He's been good for Penske, and he's been winning. He obviously won the 2 Indy 500s in a row in 2022 and 23. Or was it 23 and 24? Who knows? I need to get my numbers straight. I'm jumping into IndyCar this year, and there's a big reason for that, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But anyway, great start for him. He could rival Alex Palou.
And especially with Alex having that bad run and burying himself.
Well, now hey, don't jump ahead.
Okay.
Getting ahead of yourself. Get to your badass.
Okay. Speaking of winners, Jonathan Davenport brings Scott Bloomquist record. We talked about this at the top of the show. So there's not a whole lot left to say that I didn't talk about earlier in the day, but anytime a record like that gets broken, it's awesome. And the more I thought about it, the only thing close to that I think is similar record-wise is when, funnily enough, at Phoenix, when Jeff Gordon broke Dale Earnhardt's win record.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a lot of the same emotions as a fan as that night did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and I think that is a really good comparison of both of those drivers.
Yeah.
Davenport and Bloomquist to Gordon and Earnhardt.
I think so. I'd agree with you.
So it's cool to see that.
Do we want to chat about IndyCar?
Oh, yeah, we can talk about it a little bit.
Which
I think
also, we should mention Joey's Rex from Phoenix. Yeah, I think the thing with Chastain was just kind of a racing deal. They just came together at the transition to the dog leg, and it was just a really bad spot. And then Joey couldn't brake fast enough to get off of his right rear quarter panel. But then, I'm trying to think of the second one. It seemed like it was a spotter issue. Just he just kind of came up and didn't know that Allmendinger was there. You could say that Allmendinger could have backed out, but again, it was later in the race. But
when you're five and six at Phoenix, there's so little margin for error.
I hated
when
it.
Something bad happens.
Yeah.
You could almost blame any car involved.
And you're friends with Coleman. Like, he's a great spotter. And I think this was just kind of an error between the two of them.
Well, there at the dogleg, that seemed to be a spotter issue most of the race.
Yeah,
Not him exclusively.
I agree.
Because where the spotter stand is kind of the middle of 3 and 4.
It's just the worst spot.
You're looking straight ahead at the dogleg instead of across the track at it. So your depth perception, if it is an inch off as a spotter, it can cost 4, 5, 6 cars the race.
Well, and Allmendinger was late to pushing a possible 3 wide, so
yeah, exactly.
I get it.
It was race and deal.
I think the thing I hate the most is that Joey talked about it in our interview. You got a top 10 this year. Like, that's what the year's going to be about. And you've got to capitalize on great cars and good runs. His car was guaranteed top 5. And so I hate that now he did great with stage points. He only dropped 1 point in the championship, or 1 spot in the championship. So the points for stages helped him with that a lot. But it could have been a day that could have jumped him into the top 5 or top 4 in the championship. And so this might be a day that we look back at in 6 months from now and be like, man, if only they wouldn't have had the DNF at Phoenix. Or I hope we don't, but it's one of those things I think about right now of we could look back at this race and be like, this was a key point and something that was very much missed.
And when we get to the chase, not the playoff anymore, each position, once I think it's when you're in the top 10, is worth 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
And so one wreck can be the difference between potentially a 15-point swing at the start of the chase.
Yeah. So,
and when you get to crunching that small of numbers that late in the season, 15 points is a lot because everyone you were competing with is going to be in that type of a battle too.
Uh-huh.
And so you have to rebound. And I think Vegas is a great track for Penske.
It is, yeah.
Joey and Blaney both especially. So we could leave Vegas with Blaney as leading the points and Joey jumping from 7th up to 4th or 5th.
Well, I think it'll take Blaney a little bit more with the start that Reddick got. I think Reddick.
I don't know how far back he is.
He's still quite a ways. I think it's like 80 points.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no, Reddick is out there, and I think Reddick still finished in the top 5 at Phoenix. So
yeah, Reddick's. I mean,
he's gonna have to have some really bad races for him to be off the top. Really. So anyway,
IndyCar.
I love the IndyCar race. I really did. I had a lot of fun watching it.
You're a IndyCar fan.
No.
When I've talked to you about, you're like, that was all right.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the reason. A, it was a tag team weekend with NASCAR, so I was like, great, this is on in the afternoon. I'll watch it. But B, I'm having some problems with Formula One right now. And I watched the Australian Grand Prix this weekend, And luckily, I have Apple TV through Amazon Prime with my family, so blessed to be able to watch it. I'm a
I have the
Sky
free
Sports.
trial.
I'm a Sky Sports broadcast guy. I love hearing Crofty and listening to Martin Brundle and Ted Kravitz in the pits, and
I
all of
love
them.
Martin Brundle.
I love them. I love them
I
all.
think he has the
I think
best
it's
pit / grid walk in racing.
yeah. I think it's
I think
really.
Brundles are the best.
I think so too, and I think it's great that Apple TV have their own broadcast now too. It's a great opening for broadcasters that wanted to get into F1 that weren't a part of Sky Sports, but I like the Sky Sports broadcast, so that's what I'm going to listen to. But I'm happy that more broadcasters are getting more opportunities with the move to Apple TV, even though I didn't love the move to Apple TV away from ESPN. Anyways, I have a huge problem with these new regulations. If you haven't been watching, it's now 50-50 electric power and V6 engine power. Last year it was 80-20. And this battery it's not a battery in there that you charge up beforehand. The battery is charged through braking in the lap. And so it's potential energy being stored to then be used as kinetic energy, basically. But now, since it's 50-50 ratio, you don't have enough throughout the lap. You have to. The racing has now effectively become more about energy management and output versus how close can I get to the limit throughout the track and gain time without going off. That's what Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton and Schumacher and Ayrton Senna and Jim Clark, that's what they were all amazing at. And I feel that this is so far away from what the true heart of racing is. And I don't like it. I do not like it because it is not about anymore about who can go and find the limit and do it the best without crashing and being consistent.
Yeah, and I want to say this is a little bit of a counter, which I'm not a huge F1. You know me, I'm probably the biggest F1 hater out there.
Yeah.
But
prepare to hate
I watched
more.
it, and I watched it, and I didn't know all the rule changes because I don't follow F1.
They haven't been doing a good job, by the way, of that.
And I watched the start of the race, and I was like, and I noticed a lot of passing. I was like, okay, I knew the cars got smaller. Is that all just because the car's smaller and they can race more and it's more about the driver? And then you explain that, and I'm like, oh, well, now that's a little disappointing. Because watching it without knowing all of that, which they did a good enough job during the broadcast explaining, hey, this hybrid battery is kind of like push to pass in IndyCar, only you have to generate the power instead of it being a set amount.
Yes.
I'm like,
yeah.
Whatever. And I thought it was, you could create passing, but it wasn't, and the way you explained it, they're not driving as hard as they should be. And to me,
go ahead.
all of F1 is, since you were explaining that, like you said, it is about driving as hard as you can the entire time.
Yes.
Because every car, or not every car, a majority of the cars on the F1 grid are good enough pieces of engineering that they can handle anything the driver throws at them.
Yes.
And it is all about the driver being perfect.
Yes.
And now you're having to pull the drivers back to 70 or 80% of what they're capable of, which, okay, as a stock car fan, I get that because short track racing, tire conservation, long runs, managing being ready at the end, but that is not what F1 is.
No.
F1 is its own identity. It is supposed to be the
greatest racing on earth.
Most precision. Like you say, the greatest racing on earth, which I don't think it's been the greatest racing on earth in probably 30 years, but we're not going to talk about that. That's not today's conversation. No, but when you explain it like that, it's like you're trying to make F1 something it isn't.
Yeah.
And trying to do that to grab people who aren't F1 fans, which I enjoyed the racing, not knowing everything that was going on. But when you explain, oh, they're not really driving that hard, then it's like, oh, so it's like the super speedway racing when they're 4 wide, but they're only going 170 because they're saving gas.
Yeah. Well,
it's the same thing as that.
Yes, and it's a problem to me when you're having to slow down on the straightaways and you're not full out. And then even in the corners, like there's the famous chicane at Albert Park where it's a left and a quick back right. I mean, they fly through there. And yet I watched a ton of in cars in qualifying and in the race, and they are not full out. They are not charging that chicane with everything they have. And that is, qualifying was 3 seconds off of last year's time. And you might say that's not a lot. That is huge.
That is a lot.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I watched the in car. Someone did a qualifying of last year versus this year, and it was insane, the difference in the rate of speed.
I saw that.
And it was awful, in my opinion. And I think, F1 has made the graphic of like, we had 3 times the overtakes of last year's race. And it's like, you did. They're artificially created because these drivers, they're getting to the 2/3 mark in the straightaway and they've run out of energy. And so the other car had more energy, it's going past them. But then you create that energy again in the next lap and you're back past them, which again, you might say, oh, that's great. But it's not based off the driver's ability. It's based off their energy management. And that's not racing. It's not.
And this is me being me again. If you want F1 to be the pinnacle of racing, take every piece of quote-unquote modern technology off the car. I want an engine, 4 wheels, and a steering wheel.
Yes.
Give me 1,000 horsepower on a 1,500-pound car and turn them loose with some huge tires and just let them go for an hour and a half. But that's me.
Yeah.
I want to see late 90s, early 2000s. I want to see V10 era F1 again.
I do too. And who knows? And
I
don't know what they're going to do with it, but a lot of the drivers do not like this car, do not like it. Max Verstappen, I think this is what could force him to leave F1. He's never been like, this is where I want to be in my life. Like F1, it's everything. Like he just wants to race. And I think if this car keeps getting to him, like people said, oh, he's only saying this because he did bad in qualifying. He wrecked in qualifying because of a software connection issue. That is exactly what happened. That is
Racing
exactly what happened.
Software,
Same with Oscar Piastri. He wrecked in the lap coming to the race because the rear end and the computer stopped communicating. Yeah. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I'm going to keep watching because I want to see how this shakes down. But honestly, when it comes to formula and open wheel style racing, right now, IndyCar is going to give me my fix, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. And I want to mention, did you see the, I forgot who it was. Someone made the comparison of this is F1's Car of Tomorrow era. They have a smaller TV deal.
Yes.
A new piece of technology.
Brake hard. Brake hard. That's who said that.
And he said the drivers and the hardcore fans hate it, and IndyCar is chasing casual fans.
You mean F1?
F1, yeah, sorry. And F1's chasing casual fans. I'm like, huh. Also, it's 1 year after a huge blockbuster movie came out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're looking at F1 potentially being in the era where attendance drops 50%.
Yeah.
And the driver pool loses their flair. I just wonder where some of these guys are going to go. Because I don't think they're actually going to go.
Max Verstappen would go. He would go GT racing.
Yeah, he would go endurance racing, and he would love it because he's already said he has no interest in oval racing.
No,
he is. Yeah, so
I would love to see him make an Indy 500 start, though.
I think he said he's not doing the Indy 500.
I know.
I would like to see him in a road course NASCAR race.
Oh, so would be legendary. I would love it. I would freaking
I think it'd be awesome.
Oh yeah,
I think he would love it.
Yeah. Well, I do.
I think Lewis Hamilton has a better shot at NASCAR starts than Max because he's, done some ride swaps with NASCAR. And he loves driving a stock car. He says they are so fun.
I hope after the Formula, like when he retires, he'll come do some just for fun.
I hope so because I think either of them being in just 1 or 2 NASCAR races would. And I mean, I know it's one thing to have Kimi Räikkönen and Jenson Button come run some races. But having Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton, I think could double NASCAR viewership for that week from what it usually is.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. I'm glad we're talking about IndyCar and Formula One. I hope that we'll keep trying to do it in some more episodes. We got the China Grand Prix coming up this weekend, and so who knows what that'll happen. I'll also have to see what's next for IndyCar. I want to say it's Detroit. I'm not sure.
I believe so.
But yeah, we'll check it out. we got to wrap this episode up, and I got to go to work soon. So Gavin and I, but this is a fun one. I know, seriously. I'm home for spring break, so I need some money. So I'm trying to crank it out at my Italian restaurant I work at. But this has been good. As we always say, we're looking for sponsorship. We would love to continue to expand our B-Main operation. Our email is
are in the description.
Yes. Do you keep adding those? Because I know I keep forgetting.
I need to. I'll get it.
Gavin is going to help me with adding those. So our contacts are in the description of our YouTube video and our Spotify's. We appreciate you for listening along to episode number 30, and we will see you next time on the B-Main.